Rockets and satellites. Rockets. The word rocket can mean different things. Most people think of a tall, thin, round vehicle. They think of a rocket that launches into space. Rocket can mean a type of engine. The word also can mean a vehicle that uses that engine. How does rocket engine works? Like most engines, rockets burn fuel. Most rocket engines turn the fuel into hot gas. The engine pushes the gas out its back. The gas makes the rocket move forward. A rocket is different from a jet engine. A jet engine needs air to work. A rocket engine doesn't need air. It carries with it everything it needs. A rocket engine works in space, where there is no air. There are two main types of rocket engines. Some rockets use liquid fuel. The main engines on the Space Shuttle orbiter use liquid fuel. The Russian Soyuz uses liquid fuels. Other rockets use solid fuels. On the side of the Space Shuttle are two white solid rocket boosters. They use solid fuels. Fireworks and model rockets also fly using solid fuels. How does a rockets work?
In space, an engine has nothing to push against. So how do rockets move there? Rockets work by a scientific rule called Newton's third law of motion. English scientist Sir Isaac Newton listed 3 laws of motion. He did this more than 300 years ago. His third law says that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The rocket pushes on its exhaust. The exhaust pushes the rocket, too. The rocket pushes the exhaust backward. The exhaust makes the rocket move forward.
This rule can be seen on Earth. Imagine a person standing on a skateboard. Imagine that person throwing a bowling ball. The ball will go forward. The person on the skateboard will move, too. The person will move backward. Because the person is heavier, the bowling ball will move farther. When were rocket invented? The first rockets we know about were used in China in the 1200s. These solid rockets were used for fireworks. Armies also used them in wars. In the next 700 years, people made bigger and better solid rockets. Many of these were used for wars too. In 1969, the United States launched the first men to land on the moon using a Saturn V rocket. Rockets are also used for fireworks, missiles and other weaponry, ejection seats, launch vehicles for artificial satellites, human spaceflight, and space exploration. Chemical rockets are the most common type of high-power rocket, typically creating a high-speed exhaust by the combustion of fuel with an oxidizer. Satellites. In the context of spaceflight, a satellite is an object that has been intentionally placed into orbit. These objects are called artificial satellites to distinguish them from natural satellites such as Earth's moon. On the 4th of October 1957, the Soviet Union launched the world's first artificial satellite, Sputnik 1. Types of satellites. Number 1. Communications satellite. Number 2. Remote sensing satellite. Number 3. Navigation satellite. Number 4. Global positioning system, GPS. Number 5. Geostationary satellites, GEO. Number 6. Drone satellite, etc. Communication satellites. A communication satellite is an artificial satellite that relays and amplifies radio telecommunication signals via a transponder. It creates a communication channel between a source transmitter and a receiver at different locations on Earth. Remote sensing satellite. In current usage, the term remote sensing generally refers to the use of satellite or aircraft-based sensor technologies to detect and classify objects on Earth. It includes the surface and the atmosphere and oceans, based on propagated signals, e.g. electromagnetic radiation. Navigation satellites. A satellite navigation or SatNav system is a system that uses satellites to provide autonomous geospatial positioning. It allows small electronic receivers to determine their location to high precision using time signals transmitted along a line of sight by radio from satellites. Global Positioning System.
The Global Positioning System, originally Navstar GPS, is a satellite-based radio navigation system owned by the United States government and operated by the United States Space Force.
Geostationary satellite. A geostationary orbit, also referred to as a geosynchronous equatorial orbit, is a circular geosynchronous orbit 35,786 km in altitude above Earth's equator and following the direction of Earth's rotation. Drone satellite. It's the RAVNX, a rocket-launching drone designed to send small satellites to orbit without a pilot or a launch pad. Aerospace startup EVAM unveiled the first flight-ready model today, in advance of the system's first mission, a 2021 launch for the US Space Force, to take place after flight testing. Conclusion. The rocket is a reaction device which works in accordance with Sir Isaac Newton's third law of motion. A rocket can be compared to a continuously firing machine gun mounted on the rear of a robot. It is clear to see that satellites have a whole host of applications, many of which are in the telecommunications field. It is not as simple as launching a platform containing antennas into space and sending transmissions through it. The huge amount of data and voice transmitted today demands that constant improvements be made in security and data throughput. Furthermore, it is essential that cheaper operating and construction costs are realized because these satellites are going to wear out from the huge demands placed on them. Any efficiency that can be gained in data throughput, power generation, and launch cost will have positive implications for the future. Thanks for watching.